Alright, this is a giant. And unfortunately, the Pacific Madrone here, located on hole 14, is not in good health. There is only one main trunk still alive, and I believe the trunk canker disease is afflicting this tree, although I'm not an arborist, so I'm not sure. And you can see this is our only surviving branch here. It's very large, but even it is not fully alive, and this whole great area of this enormous tree is ill, and you can see that just recently it has been tagged for removal. But honestly, I can't blame them, because being a golf course, it gets water frequently, and the base is actually beginning to suffer some decay, potentially posing a liability and even standing to smash this nice sequoia. Oh, it's sad to see this one go, and I genuinely hope that they save this living branch, although I have to wonder how much longer it will hold on. I can see evidence of the trunk canker disease here, some more decay. Rarely do I actually see decay. Punkiness is not unusual. There's some active cambium tissue that has died after it battled with this dead area. So this is a definite loss here, and it will be missed. Okay, this is a wonderful Madrone tree here. I don't think it's ever been pruned. Wonderful, it's just a wonderful tree. This is a little tight here, but okay. Might be a little bit of trunk canker happening here, but as a whole, the tree appears to be very healthy. The leaves aren't looking perfect, but it's January, and I believe this is fairly normal for January. If we walk backwards, you can see that very large Madrone. It's not captured very well on camera, but it's doing very well. Another one over there, and it is much smaller, but maybe not doing quite as well, but also doing pretty good. So, yeah, good Madrone. Okay, so this is a pretty good example of some dieback on a Madrone tree. This one individual is actually very healthy. However, you can clearly see that on the interior of this very large trunk, there is the active cambium tissue and the dead tissue, which isn't quite, not punky, but definitely dead, and it's very obvious, but you can see the tree encapsulating the wound. I'm not sure if this is from the trunk canker that is affecting the Pacific Madrone or just a natural dieback. However, I do have to wonder if it will make this area, this tight crotch here, prone to splitting. This trunk here is in very good shape, and again, this is a healthier individual I've seen. Improper cut here, this branch stubbed, but is again in remarkable condition. Oh, look at this, here's a little more. So I presume, yeah, look, this whole section right here is actually dead, but you can see the active cambium coming in and encapsulating right over here. And this is a good view here. It's a very healthy tree. So, Madrone is interesting. Okay, what we have here is the biggest, healthiest, if not the biggest, healthiest Madrone that I know of, located here in a cemetery, and this tree is very large and very full and green. So I'm going to approach it here. and we'll take a closer look. Alright, what can we learn here? This is all, at least I believe, to be very old, healthy bark. Here. It's a little crusty, but I think that's just because this here is an enormous tree. Two very large, distinct trunks here. And this is interesting. There is a limb that must have been removed here. You can see it has been encapsulated. Probably another limb here, although that could be a burl. I don't see any evidence of trunk cankering except for this. I'm not sure if this is the trunk canker or not, but you can see that, again, it's not punky yet, and there is certainly active cambium encapsulating it. That does show itself, but again, the wood is still fairly sound, and I doubt that this is a major structural weakness because there is a large few, about a foot, maybe a little less on that side, and a ton on this side. That might be a little dead there too, but let's continue our way around. Yeah, so this tree is wonderful condition, really, really healthy. Let's see, what else do we have over here? I am not sure what species of tree this is here. I do not believe it's native. And I should really look it up, but that has interesting bark, for sure. I forget exactly what it looks like, but this is also a very large tree. I don't see any issues around the base here. That might be an issue there, long term, because it appears to be a flush cut, firstly, which you gotta maintain the branch bark collar, and you can see that that is going to make a big decay pocket right, and the whole branch here is gonna be supported on decay, as well as that branch off to the left. So this was a very poor decision, unless it failed. And even so, it was poorly executed with that flush cut there. So definitely there's a stub right there. This tells me that somebody worked on this tree who didn't know what they were doing. Oh, look at this. Looks like long ago, something tore off there. So even though this tree is sound now, I suspect that at least part of it will, in years to come, be prone to decline. Let's see. I don't know the name of this tree, but it has wonderful pink flowers in the spring. Don't see anything wrong with this one. It's fine. It's in good shape. Okay. We have some other fairly large Madrones next to this big guy that I just talked about. And let's take a look here. There's a dead branch. I'm not sure, can't see it on camera, but so this one is unfortunately suffering from some dieback. I presume that to be the trunk canker disease. There's a healthy little sprout at the bottom here, coming off a large cut that was made in there. There appears to be another one. So that's an interesting formation there. Neat little pocket down here at the base. This looks okay, but obviously this one is, well, still relatively healthy, suffering some dieback, especially when compared with that guy. How's this one doing here? This one looks to be doing a little better. Some interesting pockets at the base. Oh, now this is interesting here. We can see that there is, well, I'm sure there were huge roots coming off this side here, but not anymore, because there is a large cut here. They built a road. I imagine a large root or two were severed. Definitely cut the root zone majorly. However, this tree is actually doing better than its neighbor there. So, I'd say it's going to be okay. I'm sure. Oh, look at this. Let's go take a look at that. This individual Madrone, Pacific Madrone, is suffering. It is pretty near dead. There is a live branch over on the right. This is a pretty good example of what happens when the trunk canker, I presume, which is what has gotten to this tree, is taking full effect. It's a healthy one there. Check this out. This Douglas fir is at an extreme angle. I suspect that at some time it just kind of fell over. I don't really know why. Again, there's definitely a lump where the roots have been raised. And this thing is super slanted. It's been impacted, I presume, by something along the bottom. Maybe a lawnmower, as this is on a golf course. And it has, and up here it goes up at the end. Obviously, it's been like this for a while if it's starting to go upwards, but very interesting specimen here. Okay, here we have another tree of interest, and can you guess this tree? It's January, so there's no leaves. Way tough. This is a maple tree. I'm not sure of the exact cultivar, but it is the variety that grows all along the Pacific Northwest. There are some interesting branches. There are some large ones here. There's a bunch up there, but these guys, and particularly this one here, is a significant branch and could easily be a tree on its own, but comes out, and we got this guy going out there, and another one here. And this covers the portion of the tree here. Without this very significant branch, with there's an interesting little hole in there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but very amazing. Strong potential weakness here. May compromise this slightly, but looks like it's encapsulated it early on, so that may slow the decay. Alright, on to the next. Alright, last Madrone of the day here. It's getting dark. This guy is incredibly large, maybe even a little bigger than that cemetery one. However, it wins the prize for the fullest tree. This one begins as an enormous single-layer trunk. Huge. Really, really big. The big limb was removed there. I'm not sure why. And there is it's a huge tree. It is a huge tree. Oh, I love these. Again, there is some dieback here. I think it'll be good for another 100 years yet. So hopefully it overcomes these. There are dead leaves, but hopefully it overcomes this illness and it's a full comeback. You can see that red bark there. It's a little less green than I'd like, but it's not brown. And you can actually see that a limb was removed. And so this tree used to be even bigger. I don't know. Oh, look, two were removed. Oh, and there was actually what looks to be an impact of sorts here. Poor dude. Ah, wonderful tree. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.